Welcome to Shovelware Diggers. Our dig team is currently excavating the Softkey Shareware 2000 Hit Games 2 CD collection. You can find a link in the video description containing the entire directory structure of this archive. Wow, has it seriously been like 38 weeks already? Well, this is what our diggers have for us today, so hope you all enjoy. For more information on how to join the dig team, simply head on over to the Patreon page linked in the video description. Now without further ado, let's begin. First up, Brendan from RetroSwim dug up WINGAMES /WC/WINVAD. I have a funny feeling this is going to be like Space Invaders or something. Right at the end of the list, WINVAD.help. This program Shareware by Peter Finch, 1994 PC Finch Software. From Australia. Well, isn't that a coincidence? RetroSwim's also from Australia. So, this game apparently came from your neck of the woods. So, you want to register, then send a postcard. That's it? No? Interesting. So, if you guys recall, way back, I mean long ago, when I did the 4th episode of Ancient DOSGAMES, it was a game where the author simply wanted people to send him a postcard if they liked their game, and, well, this is another one like that. So anyways, controlling. Mouse, move cannon. Left button, fire? Okay. Or I can use spacebar and the arrow keys. I may end up using that instead, because that sounds like it would work out better. Okay, well let's just try it out and see where we end up. Well, that's a very small window. It's an interesting cannon sort of thing. Wave 1, scale. Oh, you can change the... Oh, that's neat. Now that is interesting, because think about this for a second here. The scale at 1x takes up... let's just put it this way. This is an 800 by 600 window. 640 by 480 would be something like that. So 2x would never fit on a 640 by 480 screen, and even right here, 2x just doesn't really fit that well here. And yet, it actually goes all the way up to 4x. That's some foresight there into the kind of resolution scaling that was happening. Oh, there's different craft? Oh! So the scale actually... Interesting. Depending on the craft you choose will actually... Oh, jeez. Like Windows logos and IBM barriers. So the craft you choose actually determines what the primary scale is. And then you can scale that up by multiples. Very interesting. We haven't even begun playing this yet. So let's go back to the modern, let's go back to 2x scale. I can leave this sort of like semi on the screen here, we should be fine. Okay, let's see how this plays. Oh, nice, there's sound effects. I missed the UFO at the top. I have noticed you can't hold multiple keys at a time, and I've also noticed that they're not shooting at me. Uh-oh. There we go. Level 1 wave... Whoa. So there's actually... Okay. Oh hey, there's the mouse control. Maybe I should be playing with the mouse, because it's actually tracking the cursor position. Of course, that means if you click off... Oh, even if you click off the window, it... Okay, this game is extraordinarily well coded. Which is not something I run into often with these old Windows 3.1 shovelware titles. So, Wave 2... There they go, now they're shooting at me. Yeah, because Space Invaders, when they're not shooting at you, it just doesn't feel the same. See, the trick in Space Invaders is to try and clear columns at a time, not rows at a time. Because if you clear rows at a time, they'll advance much faster. well, as they start to advance, because they hit the end of their rows so much faster, they'll just come down that much faster, and it just makes it harder to get them all. Like, the fact that it actually did separate things into levels as well sort of suggests that as you get past, like, the 4th waves and everything... Well, actually, let's see about that. Let's actually go up to Wave 4, because you can actually start on Wave 4. And we'll see if there's actually, like, a Wave 5, or... You know, I haven't even lost a life yet. It might be a good idea to see what happens if I actually do lose a life. I'm noticing that it doesn't actually tell you what wave you're on, or what level you're on, which... Oh, there I go. Ouch, you've been hit. Yes, because that's exactly what I say when I've been hit by a thermonuclear missile. So let's see what happens when I get game over. Oh. Out of cannons. You're dead. Kind of a typo there, because it should be you are, or you're with the apostrophe, but nope, you're dead. Fair enough. Okay, so that was WINVAD. This is surprisingly competently programmed. I would say this is, and this is something that the person didn't even want money for. They just wanted you to send them a postcard. So, like, I mean, yeah, if you guys are looking for a Windows 3.1 game that you want to add to your collection or something, check this one out. This one's actually decent. Like, I mean, sure, it's a Space Invaders clone up through and through. Like, I mean, oh, how do I pause? I mean, you even just change it to this mode right here. It's blatantly obvious, but hey, it's actually pretty fun. So there you go, Space Invaders game for Windows that's very decent. Next up, Paul Cheer dug up WINGAMES /WC/DUBBEL, something like that. Not quite sure what to expect with this one, because it's kind of spelled double, but really weirdly, almost like a misspelling of bubble or something. I got 2 exe files. That's kind of weird. Solitaire game that combines both skill and luck. Okay, how to play. Start a new game, move a card, turn over blind cards, keyboard controls, really? For a card game? Let's see what we got here. So, wow, another game that's taking up most of the screen for whatever reason. This one doesn't even have an option to resize from the looks of it. So, you would actually have to... you'd have to have an 800 by 600 screen, at least. Another game from '94 by Norman Martina. And apparently going by the business name Bytes Control, and he wants $10 for registration. Oh, this is another Canadian person. Registered users get 2 free upgrades. Okay. Limiting the amount of updates you're going to give somebody for your software, usually not a good idea with games. Like, I mean, with something like educational software, where you've got entire school systems purchasing this software and having to stay up with certain educational standards, then it kind of makes sense to pay for additional versions. Or if you're talking about really expensive software in the first place, where each version has hundreds of thousands of man-hours, or not hundreds of thousands, but at least thousands of man-hours going into it, then yeah, you're going to want to recoup the cost of that upgrade, especially when you're doing it time and time again. But limiting your updates on a game, when many of those updates are mostly just going to be bug fixes instead of feature additions, that's kind of sketchy. Anywho's, mini rant over. Let's actually play this thing. I already took a look at the preferences. It just says beep on air, so it doesn't look like it has any particular things going on. Well, I got different decks. Do they all have different animations? Yeah, they all have different animations, except for the plain one. I would be really surprised if that had an animation. I would never want my cards to have a backing like that. Okay, and apparently most of them don't have animations. Oh, that one's floating away. Come back! You're just a plain sky. Seriously? Fruit and champagne glasses? Okay. And just a bunch of colored lines. Okay, let's go with this one. Because it's the most floaty? I don't know. Deal. Okay, so each of these cards is odd. Because... Or actually, no, it's not odd. Or, actually, yes, it is odd. Okay, first of all, we've got... How many piles here? 10 different piles, each with 3 cards in it. The cards apparently don't stop at 10 because we got an 11 and a 12. And instead of being suited, we've got the colors red, green, blue, and purple, which are indicated with letters, I imagine, in case you're playing this like on a monochrome monitor or something. But then we also have 8 piles at the top here. Okay, maybe I should have actually. On the 51st card moved, 1 point is deducted from the score for every 10 seconds elapsed thereafter. Preset colors are red with green and blue with pink. These rules are kind of weird. It's kind of like Klondike Solitaire, but not. So if I'm getting this correctly, it's like green goes with red, and blue goes with purple. So... Do I not have any moves? Oh. You pull on entire lines when you do that. Okay. It's kind of weird. Still don't have any moves, I don't think. It's hard to tell because it's like when you're playing with a normal deck of cards, there's only 2 suit colors, black and red, and so you're alternating between them. But here, it's like 2 specific colors have to go together, and then 2 other specific colors have to go together, and it's kind of hard to visualize how that matches up. Okay, so we have some 13. Okay. This is weird. Okay, so the blue and the purple, it is basically Klondike, except with weird colors and everything. And actual numbers starting from 1 and going to 13 instead of typical cards. And the other thing, too, is that when you click on here to get more cards, it just adds an entire line. This is pretty weird, but I sort of get where they're going with this. Sort of. But it's like, why make such a big change to such a classic game and then just make it harder to play as a result of that? Okay, and the reason why there's 8 stacks is because each color actually goes through twice. So there's actually a lot of cards in this deck. Oh, and I just noticed you can't pull the cards back off when you've placed them. Like, I mean, that's a trick when you're playing Klondike Solitaire, is that sometimes you'll need to actually pull the cards off of the away section so that you can move stuff around, so that you can clear other things off. But apparently you can't do that here. So yeah, that was DUBBEL, or Double, or however you want to pronounce it. It's kind of a weird take on the Klondike Solitaire formula. I don't really enjoy this. Like, I mean, I think it would be better if the colors were a little more uniform and you weren't trying to deal with 4 different colors that each had their own sort of specialization with each other. Because, like, I mean, I kept wanting to, like, mix blue with red or green with purple, because to me those are more opposite than putting green with red and blue with purple, which sort of makes them more similar that way. I don't know. I think in this case, I'd rather be playing just regular Klondike Solitaire. And lastly, we have a 3-person team dig here. DOSGAMES / NEWDOS / Defcon 12? Or is it Defcon 1-2? In any case, this one was dug up by Michael Madsen, Ronnie Schmotzler, and Douglas Reno. Given the fact that there's other games I know of which use the whole Defcon alert system format that are actually decent, I'm not surprised that a lot of people want to see this. So hopefully this is actually something decent here. Now we got a file ID.dis file, along with a readme.bat. Let's see. Oh, it just types the defcon1.doc file. Okay, let's see what this actually is. Romulus software. Yeah, subtle. Defcon 1, version 1.2 by John Cortellu. Cortellu? I'm going to go with Cortellu. John Cortellu. Copyright 92,94. Which means he probably originally released this in 92 and then updated it in 94. So... okay, Defcon 1 options. Please type your selection. Instructions. Thank you for playing Defcon 1 1.2. Romulus Software. This game is similar to assorted other World War III type games. So basically trying to pretend what World War III might be like. Okay, got it. You're given a limited amount of bombs to repel an oncoming wave of hostile intercontinental ballistic missiles launched by Switzerland. Okay. Like that would ever happen. If not intercepted, the ICBMs will destroy your peace-loving cities. This is like the opposite of what World War III would be. You're given 6 cities to protect until the bitter end. This is sounding very much like a missile command game. Oh, hang on a second here. I actually think I've played this before. So this is actually a missile command clone. There's our cities down there. But what's interesting is that you actually get different weapons in this game. Now, at the start of the game, you only get one weapon. I think. Can I select the other weapons? I cannot. And I kind of forget how big each of the waves are. Missile Command is a lot easier to play with a mouse than with a trackball. The original Missile Command arcade game used trackball. Just part of the reason why Missile Command didn't really translate well to consoles at the time. Perfect wave, 1,000-point bonus. I like how it actually has populations in there. Because it's actually giving me bonus points per amount of population saved. Weapon 1, now operational. Wasn't I already using Weapon 1, technically? Okay, that's Weapon 1. Weapon 1 is just a bigger explosion. Oh, it's changing the missile color trails. Or the trails... the color of the trails of the missiles. Oh, we got a zigzaggy one there. Yeah. Well, still surviving. That's the other thing I remember about this game, too, is that the difficulty actually increases at a pretty fair rate. It's not like the original Missile Command game where the difficulty just spikes after the first... oh, nice. The difficulty just sort of spikes after the first couple or 3 levels. Here it actually has a nice gradual increase. Where is that one? Whoa. That was pretty crazy. So I have a weapon 2 now. Let's actually see what it does. Oh, it's a cluster bomb. Not sure how useful that would be. I think if you had a lot of them going for the same spot, like the exact same spot, but all at different like timings, then the cluster one would probably work out well because you're creating all those clusters over a period of time. Okay, so still surviving. Memory serves, I don't think I've ever actually seen all the weapons in this game. But then it was a long time ago when I last played this thing. Bonus round. Hit the happy face before time runs out. Okay. Oops. Oh, I keep missing too, though. And it doesn't seem to have an effect for when you miss. You don't really notice that you're missing. You're just sort of clicking like crazy and missing in this process. Okay. End of bonus round. Got an extra 3,000 points. Well, 3,892 if you want to be exact. Unfortunately, there's not really a lot to comment on while playing a game like this. Weapon 3, now operational. Okay, let's see what Weapon 3 is like. Oh, it creates a circle. Not sure how useful that'll be, but whoa, not good. Still alive, somehow. Nope. I lost the city. Oh well. Had to happen sooner or later. The game's getting more intense. Plus the other thing too is it doesn't actually let you bring the mouse all the way down. Whoa. Even the strange ones are... Ah, there goes Pittsburgh. Sorry, Pittsburgh. Wasn't able to save you. I only had 2 ammo left. Ugh. Now, one of the things you can do when the number of missiles starts to get really intense, but you've lost cities, is don't aim for the ones that aren't going for cities. Save your ammo. So, Seattle and Urbana. And now I've got Tucson? Isn't it supposed to be Tuscan? Tucson. Fair enough. And Weapon 4, what does this one do? Oh, it's like just a wall of explosions. That's potentially helpful. I should also point out that the mouse is not moving in a perfect circle. Like, here's the circle that I'm getting with the mouse. It's just, it's more of a horizontal oval. It's just kind of weird. It's making it hard to get these smiley faces really quickly. Yeah, when you don't have a lot of cities left, just let a whole bunch of them just not go, just do their thing. It's not like the world's going to be irradiated or anything. Although that would be interesting if there was a missile command type game that actually tracked like radiation buildup from having too many bombs exploding. So now you have to deal with fallout. That'd be weird. That would never happen. Although if someone made it happen. Weapon 5 now operational. I don't believe I've ever seen Weapon 6. That's Weapon 5. That is the most unreliable thing ever. I'm gonna stick with Weapon 4. So all I have to protect now is Seattle. So I'm gonna just put a wall of flame above Seattle, and that should keep it safe. Okay, Weapon 6 now operational. Let's see how this works. It just flat out defends the entire cityscape. So Weapon 6 is just basically shields up. Oh, that's hilarious. Although in some ways it kind of makes sense to as the final weapon to get in a game, because like overpowered to the nth degree. It's probably using a ton of ammo when I use it though. Okay, it looks like it's using like 4 ammo or something like that. That's not actually that bad. Okay, well I've seen the 6th weapon finally. So, oh, I got a bonus round to go through first. Okay, let's clear the bonus round just by wasting a whole bunch of ammo. Okay. So I've seen the 6th weapon now. It's basically a 4 ammo using firewall. I think I'm happy. So that's Defcon 1. This game is definitely one of the better missile command games out there. It's got a lot to it. It's got multiple weapons. You got different cities going on that are all named, even if kind of weirdly. I mean, this is a decent missile command clone. And like, I mean, yeah, most of what we've seen today have been clones of other games to some degree. But, you know, when it's a good clone, like... Yeah, that's the other weird thing, is that most... Well, except for the Solitaire one. No, this one's actually decent, and so was the Space Invaders one. So yeah, compliments all around. Lots of fun stuff today, so... Of course, now I'm wondering how many of you who wanted to see this game, because there were 3 of you who dug this one up. I'm now kind of wondering how many of you actually knew this was what it was going to be. But anyways, let's just let them blow up Seattle and see what the ending sequence is like. And yep, it keeps going so that you can get your extra points before your inevitable failure. Now, one of the things with the original Missile Command game is it actually had this, like, massive explosion when you suddenly lost everything. Let's see if this game actually does the same thing. The ammo counter's off the screen. But I didn't save anyone. So, game over? Whoa. That was kind of trippy. Not nearly as a... I don't know, 60% destruction rate even. So apparently I wasn't doing that bad. So yeah, Defcon 1. Definitely check this one out, because this one's pretty fun. At least if you like Missile Command.